All right, everybody, welcome to another Think with a Drink. This is the weekly webinar series brought to you by the Aries Foundation for Financial Education. And this one we're going to do, it's called Summer Spend, or how to have fun in the sun and still be able to save or not go broke, essentially, right? We're right at the start of summer, so we're going to have a little fun with this. Real quick as we get started up here, just know, the event is being recorded. Just keep your microphones muted. Doesn't matter whether the cameras are on or off because the cameras are not shown on the screen. There is a chat box though, so if you do have questions, please feel free to drop those into the chat box, and my co-pilot, who I'll introduce in a second, will keep us on track and try to answer those questions. Speaking of your pilots for tonight's flight, my name is Tom Alessi. I'm the president of the Aries Foundation. I've been in financial services now almost 24 years. I'm an investment advisor. That means I act as a fiduciary whenever giving guidance or advice to any of my clients. I'd like to bring my vice president on in. Craig, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Craig Richardson. I'm the vice president of the Aries Foundation. I've been doing this a little over 18 years now. And I work specifically with families to help them to find their goals and have a better relationship with their money.
And like I said, Craig will be chiming in as we go along here. And if there are any questions, he'll bring them up as we move along. Told you that Think with a Drink is brought to you by the Aries Foundation for Financial Education. You can visit us at www.ariesfoundation.org. Aries Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to the mission of trying to help everyone have a better relationship with their money. Because whether you realize it or not, you are in a relationship with your money. And just like every other personal relationship that you have, there are behaviors and emotional triggers that cause us to act irrationally sometimes when we're dealing with our finances. All Craig, myself, the rest of the Aries team try to do is to help everybody take a little bit of that emotion out of handling their money. There's a lot of words on the screen. I'm not going to read them. These are our disclosures, so did I not? What did I do? Anyway, never mind. So we're a nonprofit. We're entirely meant to be educational and informational. Just know that if you ever do have any questions, whether they're related to tax, legal, or financial advice, that the Aries Foundation suggests that you reach out to a professional to help you with those. Clearly I needed to get to the next screen is what the issue was. So we call this Think with a Drink, and there's a reason for that, because we understand that some of these topics, some of this information can be a little overwhelming, can be a little daunting, can be a little intimidating sometimes to somebody. And so we try to make it a little bit more casual, a little bit more relaxed. And we can't think of a better way to do that than as if we have something cold to sip on and our audience, imbibes along with us. And tonight, Craig, I am drinking, this is Night Swimmer, because we are doing a summer episode. So I am drinking Night Swimmer this is Revival Brewing down in Rhode Island. You'd probably like this. This is a Belgian style wit beer.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, it's a wit beer, supposed to be more like a session beer, and session beers, when they talk about session beers, means you can, the idea is that you can have more than one. Mm-hmm. Who was that company? Was that Schaefer? Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one, right? Like that. Oh, that's way too old for you. Sorry.
Not ringing bells with me. All I can think about, especially if you look at the picture there, Night Swimmer, it looks like Jaws.
I think that's sort of what they were going with, because she's swimming at night, right? In terms of that. All I can think
about was Jaws when I saw it. You just heard the name, Night Swimmer.
Swimmer. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm being a wuss. I'm drinking a Diet Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi. Wow, skål to your Diet Pepsi. Oh, you can taste that. You can taste the spice and stuff in that like orange peel and coriander type of thing,
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, that's usually with a wit beer type of that spice that goes along with it. Nice.
Let's up and give it a try then.
That's Night Swimmer. All right, so Argento, what's summer fun going to cost you? How are you going to handle that? Ways to be better at spending, and let's try to do a little bit of this, but stay within that dreaded B word in a budget, right? So, summer fun in the sun, it means something different to everybody, summer, right? But, generally for most people, most families, Craig, they're looking to get away usually, right?
Yeah, everybody likes to take a fun summer vacation, right?
But in a lot of times that we may have that one vacation type of thing planned, but then we're also planning, day trips and nights out and things like that go along with summer as well.
They want to get to the beach, enjoy some waves, have some
Exactly, that type of thing. So, when we're looking at that from, this is now the summer of 2022, and what's that going to cost, right? So when we start looking at that, so I'm throwing some numbers out at you. So this is $100 to $120, right? That's a day trip down to the Cape Cod National Seashore, one of my favorite beaches on the planet, which is Coast Guard, which is right there on the National Seashore. But, it's going to cost you basically between gas and parking and, we're going to have a little picnic lunch and then, maybe some cold beverages to go along with it. You're suddenly talking, it's going to be more than $100 to do that just for a day trip down the Cape.
Well, that's if you're in Massachusetts. If you come from California, it might be a lot more expensive. That's a long drive.
Yes, but not if you went to San Diego Beach and you lived in San Diego. You could probably walk right out the door. You wouldn't even have to buy gas.
That's Cape Cod. I'm just saying.
I thought you were going to come from like Vermont or something with that and say that you're Connecticut and, come that way versus, California. That was a little off the table there. All right, $115, right? $115. What did I do wrong? Not 200. I must have screwed that up. Anyway, the $115 is a Red Sox game for two. We're not talking the pricey seats. We're talking out towards the bleachers, the upper grandstand. And
even the bar behind the grandstand?
No. Those are expensive seats, dude.
No, I meant the bar outside the stadium on the other side of the street.
Oh, no, did you know? So here's a fun fact for you. Do you realize they're building a music venue right behind Fenway Park?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the crap. It's a name, Verizon. I think it's the Verizon Center. It might be the Verizon Center. It's a Verizon Center at Fenway or Xfinity Center at Fenway, something like that, right?
Wow.
That it's going to have musical guests. They're going to seat like 5,000 in this venue. It's right behind that area you're talking about in the right field grandstands there that they're building. It's going to open later this summer.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I think James Taylor's coming in the end of August. He might be the opening venue for the opening act for that venue. But so see, they're putting seats there. They listened to you. They said, "Hey, we're going to put seats there because we can sell them."
Hey, yes.
But that's bleachers, grandstand, 2 dogs, 2 beers. That, you're talking $115. That's not a family of 4. That's 2 people basically to a game. $200. Now we're talking about, dining out for a family of 4 basically, or for two, 4 adults type of thing. But 4 people, you're talking like $200.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a cheap summer basically.
Just 5 guys.
Huh?
I said, and that's just going to 5 guys.
5 guys, yeah.
Get $25 hamburger.
Yeah. No. I was at the U.S. Open, right? So I was at the U.S. Open. The beer was $11. I believe though that's right in line, if not, it was cheaper than Fenway.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, because the beer, the U.S. Open beer, Bud Light was 10 and Sam Adams was 11. But at Fenway, like a craft beer was like $13.75.
Wow.
It's almost $14 for a beer.
You have to put some in your socks, I guess.
Or something, down your pants or, some way of trying to get in with that. All right. So what can you do, right? What steps can you take, right? So, like anything, and when again, Craig and I, we say this to people all the time about saving money, but, we're here at the end of June, maybe you're trying to go away in August. Maybe it's like, hey, I'm gonna, put sort of my other spending on hold for the month of July so that I can have this bucket of money that I'm going to go use for whether that's my staycations or, time out or going away type of thing.
Yep.
It says pay off debts, that's sort of an obvious, but, it might be sort of like pausing that. Not that you shouldn't always pay attention to pay off your debts, but it might be if you're looking to spend a little bit more, maybe it's all right, I'm going to take this month, i.e. the month of July, and just pay the minimum. And the money I was putting towards those debts, I'm going to put over here in my vacation or summer spend fund for the month of August for the moment. Because otherwise you're just going to run into the same situation and run up more credit card debt, right, Craig?
I was going to say that's the more important part is, don't run up debt on that summer vacation. I mean, I know everybody deserves it. We all need a good vacation, but we don't want to be paying for it later, especially when you're looking at maybe a little bit of a tightening of the belt, right?
Right.
Because of possible recession. So you don't want to be adding on top of, misery on top of misery.
We don't like to use the B word here, create a budget. We're going to talk about that in the next slide, where we're going to talk about a budget and looking at a budget or the spending that you do in terms of that, and watch your health, right? So, the summer is a time of excess sometimes, obviously out in the sun, what is that? Hydrate, like that's the Tom Brady thing, right? Always hydrate, always, make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, the electrolytes, there you go. But it's important because, anytime, Craig and I talk to people about financial stuff, that it's a stressor. And that stress, if there's a problem, can exasperate or cause even more problems to your health, just on an ongoing basis. So it's important to make sure that you stay healthy, eat right, do good things, exercise. It's summertime, get out, go for a walk, do the stuff you need to do, but try to make sure you're putting this all in a balance, right, Craig? Because that's what we always talk about, trying to be balanced with everything.
Absolutely. Get out there in the sun and get your vitamin D, right?
Yes.
But don't burn yourself. Make sure you put on your suntan lotion. There's your balance, right?
There you go, right? Lather up, put on the lotion, make sure you put sunblock on, sunscreen. But yes, it's important to get that. And actually, if you get early rays, right, it'll help you through the day. It does boost you in terms of your metabolism and in terms of your overall well-being, just by getting those early, those that early exposure to the rays. All right, so looking at a budget, right? So the whole idea with budgeting is always about, the problem with budgeting, that word is just so restrictive. What Craig and I like to talk about is where you're spending or how you're spending, or most importantly, why you're spending your money. And one of the things that comes with this, especially now when we're talking about, all you have to do is look, all the bad news that you're seeing. The markets are down, inflation is running rampant. Even Senator Warren was talking about the recession today, Craig. See, I was told, that where it's headed.
Yes.
And all of that stuff. So, there is a lot of bad news. And, a lot of times we'll try to spend to make ourselves feel better. And that's something that, you need to be looking at in terms of figuring out, why am I doing this? Is it because I'm trying to, spike the endorphins? I'm trying to make myself feel better by doing it. We all know about going away, and like Craig said, getting time outside, going to the beach, relaxing, do all that stuff. It's good for you, and it is a good thing. But you do have to take into consideration what it's costing you and whether or not you can actually afford to do some of the things that you're thinking about doing.
Yeah, one good trick here too, Tom, is when you think about vacations, they say that it takes you, whenever you go on a vacation, the first couple of days, you always feel a little wound up, right? It takes you a few days to get into the groove of the vacation. And they say that's really your natural body rhythm, right? You're trying to relax, you're getting out of the work mode. So sometimes it's not the length of vacation, but the quality. So maybe, you want to budget a little bit better. spend the first 2 or 3 days as a staycation, right, at home, getting yourself relaxed, getting yourself in vacation mode, and then maybe take, instead of a whole week where you're not enjoying the first 2 days because you're still wound up, at the end of the week, go away. So now it's a little less expensive, and you get to enjoy it a little bit more because you've already hit that relax mode.
Right. You already sort of let the decompression happen, let that I'm okay. I'm relaxed now. I don't have to think about my inbox. I don't have to worry about that schmuck who's been, nagging me at work or whatever the case may be. Yeah, no, it's a good point because that does happen, right? And sometimes we get antsy about it towards the end of it because we have to go back.
Right.
Right. So then we get worked up on the other side of it because now it's like, oh crap, I got to go back. I got to deal with all this. I tried to think of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. But I'm saying it's really about the quality of the time, not the quantity. And maybe, if you can pack more in or more relaxed when you get there because you took a little bit of, break before you went between work and the vacation, you might get a lot more out of it for your money.
Right. Right. That is the idea. And again, it's trying to understand, ahead of time, sort of, you don't have to plan every step of the way because, we like to be a little bit spontaneous in terms of dealing with everything, but have a general idea of some of the activities that you're going to do when you're out or away or what that may be and what's that going to cost. I'm going someplace. Well, I definitely want to check out, this location or this cool restaurant that's in that area or this bar that I've heard so much about, or, I get a chance to go see a ball game and I want to go visit, that stadium. Do a little bit of prep work beforehand and sort of think about what the agenda is going to be and how much that's going to cost you. And, maybe it's like, well, okay, this time we can't do all of those things, right? Maybe I can only do 2 or 3 of those things.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you also want to check. I mean, sometimes like maybe an afternoon game is cheaper than an evening game at prime time, right? Or an afternoon show if you're going to say a show to see a play or something. Depending on what it is. Also, if you really want to eat at a certain restaurant, book ahead because what if you get there and all of a sudden they're full? And now you're going to a more expensive restaurant than you planned on because it was the only one you could get into. Right. So some of this, if you plan it out a little bit, you can save some money and still get the same quality. But it's when you wait till the last minute, that's when you pay the premium. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. And it goes hand in hand with the idea of, anytime we're talking about whether it's a staycation, whether it's a day trip, whether it's a planned, prolonged vacation, stuff's going to change. And like Craig said, some of that may be, hey, look, I wanted to go, but, the game was sold out because I didn't prepare for that, so now I got to find some other thing to while away my time or entertain me. And I might wind up at something that's either costing me more or taking away from my overall enjoyment because I really wanted to be at that ball game or at that event or that show or whatever it was. So, understand there is some of that. And the reason we bring that up is because a lot of times what happens is, again, we're trying to get some more enjoyment out of it. So how do we do that? A lot of times we'll spend to do that. So now it's like, well, all right, I'm going to make up for it because I'm going to go to this luxurious this top line restaurant now, and that's where we're going to go eat because I didn't get to do the thing I wanted to do, and now you're out of the budget that you had originally thought of. So again, it's sort of looking at that from the overall perspective of it's okay to do it, it's okay to spend, it's okay to have fun in the sun, but you really need to be thinking about how that's all going to play out for you, especially, Craig, as we get to the coming, not the next 6 months, but maybe certainly next year, as we have had this conversation that this R word recession is starting to rear its head. And, one of the biggest, problems with a recession is job loss, right? Because that's what happens. The economy gets squeezed and, layoffs and downsizing are products of a recession. And so it's something to be prepared for next year. Not necessarily that it's going to happen, but you just want to put the steps in place and not be like, hey, like the crypto people who are just like partying like it's, still going on and the world is great, even though everything is crashed around them.
Now, and now after Tom's lunar eclipse in the middle of our sunny day.
Yes. So that's
it's really about, can you enjoy the vacation without having stress on the backside of it, which is when you don't plan and you come back and get the bill and go, oh my God, I look for my bank account. I spent more money on this than I wanted to.
right.
Or worse, you put it on a credit card and now you're getting reminders of your summer vacation that you don't want because it's coming with interest. You make sure the de-stressor is really a de-stressor and that you stayed within your budget, did things you wanted to do and enjoyed. And one way to do that is to say, plan ahead and also be, like I said, prepared for changes. Because, sometimes, adventure is just inconvenience that you survived, right? So sometimes a little, change in plans can add to the excitement of the vacation, or at least something to talk about after the fact. But once again, try to go with the flow. You're there to relax. You're there to try to, get away from the problems. Don't create them.
Yeah, and that is a big part of it. That's why it's one of those to try. The idea is to do it. Like, don't get yourself so tight that you're like, I can't go, I can't do this, or that you're not enjoying your life or not enjoying some time out and not getting to relax and because that's the other side. That's a different type of stress where now it's I don't have any downtime, I don't have any relaxation, and now I'm getting really wound up tight, and there's another stressor that causes our health to deteriorate.
Right. And, we all want to travel. Everybody wants to go to Hawaii, right? Everybody wants to go to Fiji. Everybody wants to go to these great places, but you got to see what works for your budget. And really it's about, do you get to some stay home vacations can be fantastic when you don't have anything you have to do. And it's also about the company, right? If you're having a barbecue with good people, or you're just relaxing in your porch and got your foot in a bucket of ice water, it can be just as fun sometimes. So just try to, stay within your means and try to relax. That's the best part, as opposed to taking a stress or vacation that gives you stress on the other side of it. And you need a vacation from your vacation. Right.
Then that's where the problem kicks in when that adds to it. And then now I've got this mounting, like, oh God, what did I do? And how am I going to pay for that? And then that just, it becomes detrimental in the whole grand scheme of everything in terms of dealing with it.
You went backwards and forwards, right?
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that Craig and I try to do and try to help everybody with is trying to have that sort of vision, that look in terms of the road ahead. What's that going to look like? What's that going to be like? And the idea is that everybody's on a different path. Our journey along that path is where we're all headed towards, but we're all at different places on it. And so what we try to do is help you, sort of say, look, this is how you can do it. This is how you might be able to save, whether it's for now, this month, next year, 5 years, 20 years, whatever it is. But it's trying to put that all together. And one of the ways we do that is what we call the roadmap to financial awesomeness. This is a visual planning tool. It allows you to see exactly where you are, all the things that you have. In some cases, maybe also other peers, other like individuals or families and what they have versus what you may not have, or what they've put together to give you a sense of, gee, where am I at in the world? That type of thing. And it allows you to sort of get a visual and to see that. Right, Craig? Like, where you're going to be in all of this.
Yeah. So can I see, am I on track? Are there some things where I have a deficit that I really need some attention? Are there some things that I'm really like, maybe I'm oversaving so that happens as well.
Right.
So make sure you're putting it in, as we say, the right buckets. So you're getting that, diversity, especially in retirement planning. Do I have multiple buckets as far as tax buckets go? So it's just nice to see it all on one page and see, once again, am I filling in all those gaps?
Right. Absolutely. And for anybody in the audience, just know you can always reach out. If you type yes into the chat box, one of us will reach out to you, but we're always here, always trying to, sort of have that conversation, or at least begin the conversation. It doesn't fit for everybody, but every now and then it does help just to have that sort of visual, where am I at and where am I trying to get to ultimately in the great grand scheme of everything.
Absolutely.
So this is Craig and I in our more formal attire. This is, yes, those are TB12 jerseys. For those who are asking, they do not say Brady on the back. They are custom to us. We have worn them for years. We do a lot of presentations. We do a lot of stuff, out and about in the communities. And And we like to have the jerseys with us. We kept them even though he went to Tampa because he is the greatest of all time. So we were going to continue to wear them. And then
Our friend in the middle there actually is wearing an official Brady jersey, though. It does say Brady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's because Brady was her guy. Brady was her. That was it. She was the ultimate Tom Brady fan, and which was awesome in terms of being able to give her that jersey. That it was actually a Super Bowl, an official Super Bowl jersey as well. But he retired. We panicked. We didn't do anything. We kept them because we weren't sure. You know, when was that? It was like February. Like, you know, we weren't really paying attention to football season yet. And then he unretired, so we have him for one more year. We'll figure it out from there. But you can also see that some of our contact information is there as well. And then that brings us to Craig. Any questions in the chat box?
Nope, I have no questions in the chat box at this time.
Okay, so if you ever do have any questions, you ever want any advice, any guidance, feel free. You can reach out to us. If you go to the website, www.ariesfoundation.org, you can there's a contact us sheet, but you can also look at all the material that we have on there. There's different organizations that we work with who might be able to help you out as well. And we have access to our YouTube channel where all our titles are stored, where you can go through and, you know, if there's a specific topic or something you're looking to get an answer on, you might be able to find it there. Otherwise, you can send us a direct email. It's info@ariesfoundation.org. And like I said, anytime, shoot it out to us. We're happy to try to answer and come back to you and see if we can help out in any way. Craig, I'm going to give one last check on that to see if there are any questions.
Thank you for checking. And nope, we are clear.
All right. Cleared for landing. I appreciate that for my co-pilot. So on that note, I'm going to say thanks and have a great evening.